We are now recording the December 21st, 2018 Small Business Accounting Advisors. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Last Friday before Christmas. Sara has her little jingle bell on. Big jingle bell.
Big jingle
So she can't sneak up on Mark.
Mark always knows where you're at.
Me and the dog.
Petty.
Okay, well, we had a little pre-conversation and some questions for Matt. We're going to talk about the difference between Hubdoc, Vendorsync, and ledgersync.
Yeah.
Yep. So the primary difference when you talk about Hubdoc as a solution and then ledgersync immediately, the first two, they're always compared against each other. Hubdoc, I've always considered to be more of a document aggregator. Their focus is on gathering documents across, whether it's utility bills, whether it's bank statements, all those type of things. You can have them come through email. So it's a document aggregator. It does happen to also bring in bank statements and generate a CSV file, but it doesn't really do the transactional line item type stuff. So if you're looking for a greater detail, if you're looking for, my personal opinion, an easier check image page to work with, that's where I really like ledgersync. Ledgersync the primary focuses on financial transactions, and they're going to bring in the transactional lines. So when you're thinking of a statement, you actually see each individual line. You have the ability to go in and play with a memo. You can type in a payee name. But my absolute favorite part of it is their check images and their deposit images. It's on a single scrolling page, so you're not clicking on one, trying to manipulate it, go to the next one, which just takes forever. Hubdoc does integrate with QuickBooks Online and will push in the details of a check into QuickBooks Online through the back end, which means you just have to be aware of the workflow to avoid duplication. ledgersync has been working on something with that for a bit of time on a QBO setup. It is in beta at the moment. I like the way they do it where, again, you have multiple checks on a single screen that you can kind of push them in, but I do feel that there are some things about it that need to be improved for the QBO connection part of it. And ultimately, Vendorsync, shameless plug, Vendorsync, there we go, is complementary to either one. So if you actually, in a sense, if you want to gain the power from Hubdoc of that transactional detail, you could take that CSV file that Hubdoc pulls in, export it, send it into Vendorsync, and now you can actually process the transactions, especially for QuickBooks Desktop. Big difference there. For either one of those, if you're working in a desktop environment, you would want to pull the transactions into Vendorsync and then take and push that information to QuickBooks Desktop, because you'd be pulling the actual payee names and the actual chart of accounts to make the relationships. And the most important part is that dang payee name. You can type in whatever you want, but if you don't get it right, it's not going to necessarily match. And that's the big problem we solve to make it a more efficient workflow.
Absolutely.
See, I want to use it with Expensify, with Divi, with some of these other programs that do a great job of grabbing images. But once I get that comma delimited file, I need it to read vendor lists and read the chart of accounts and give me a real quick way to do memos. So I think coupling,
Well, I look at Vendorsync as more of a batch entry kind of thing where you can, I'm gonna use some new words, lasso and corral the data much quicker.
Good, I like that.
Can I use that?
Yeah,
that's really good.
Because we use batch enter.
Yeah.
But this has a little memory going on, so that you're not reinventing the wheel every month. I love that. So
Tiffany
we're getting the best of both worlds of the batch enter, and it starts quick filling or whatever.
We love it. It's when you start to play with it a little bit more, Vendorsync really starts becoming even more powerful because we spent so much time arguing through the workflow. It was so important before we pushed that process forward that the way you click on the different buttons is so, so important.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. Tiffany,
I remember when these things came out. And, you know, even to this day, I know keyboard shortcuts.
Yeah.
Without even thinking. I'm all keyboard. I really dislike grabbing the mouse because I'm really old school. But it seems like once we got into the mouse world, it's click and click and click and click. I just feel like the speed is gone.
Yeah, right.
Well,
we should do right. I mean, we should write up a desktop.
The way that you're entering, the speed is gone. If you are doing, I remember in DOS world, you would know the fields that you would tab to.
Tab. You would
tab to check number.
I don't even know you're doing it. Tab, internet.
Tab, enter it right through. Well, in today's world, in the mouse world,
you have to look.
You have to look. And you're bringing in tons of transactions, many, many, many more than you could date, tab.
Yeah. So you know what I mean? It's a trade-off. Yeah.
Should be able to do both. Should be able to do both.
Yeah.
Like one of the things we really have tried to focus on, we're still building it out a little bit further, is like actually, you know, tabbing through and some of the shortcut keys that you can use in QuickBooks. We're trying to see if we can set up and ultimately start to mirror some of those, because I think that people would appreciate that. And the one I'm trying to suggest, and this would probably get me in trouble, but have you guys ever heard this little sound that goes boop, bloop?
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah, Linda will do it.
I love it.
Friday night happy hours.
You could look at many of our recordings and hear that little sound.
Who's working?
There's a lot of people that seem to miss that boop, bloop.
I miss it. Did it get entered? Didn't it get entered? Oh, did I see that flash and say it's been entered? I don't know.
But what do you do when you're entering 150 transaction group?
Yeah, it goes really fast.
Look at him. Okay, that would be really bad. Like literally.
I do have one that does that. Yeah. Very well.
You have a bunch of memorized transactions and you're entering all the data for a year where you're having the memorized transactions, enter it, and you go out of QuickBooks and then you come back in, it can go just like that. Go ahead and enter all. And it's fun to amaze people.
So Matt,
absolutely.
If you were to figure out how to do the ba-doop-a-doop in your program, do you think Intuit would get upset? Is that their ba-doop-a-doop?
Ultimately, like if the tones were different, right?
I don't think they can register the sound.
Here's the question: Is it a standard Windows sound that they're using? If it is, then it's.
I don't think so because it's installed. It's actually installed.
Yeah, and who says it's Windows? Who says Windows controls it anyway?
Couldn't you just drop it down an octave?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We need another key.
What if I just did boop, bloop,
actions? If you actually go into sounds, you'll see that different actions are assigned to different activities.
Right.
Right.
After you install QuickBooks and then you go to sounds, you'll find it, but it came from the QuickBooks program.
So that is the ultimate question: is it something that's protected? Because if it is, the last thing I want to do is be the troublemaker.
It would have to be something similar.
Well, I would change the frequency of the sound and maybe make it
burp.
Or just have it alternate, open up, down and octave.
Backwards.
And
How
then
about
just have it-
cha-ching?
I like the cha-ching.
That's pretty good. I like that. Yeah.
Or the cash register shut, slam.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, man.
But I did enjoy your demo, Matt. You know, when you actually do a demo, you can see in real life how quickly you can add hundreds of transactions. Usually other people that are doing demos, they've only got 4 or 5 things that they've got up. You had hundreds, and you showed us exactly what to do with hundreds of transactions and how to easily get them in there in minutes.
Thank you.
And I'm so glad you did it
just
this morning because I couldn't join you guys last Friday. So.
And I'd like to talk to you more about C data.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So that's a great program too. I mean, for me, this is the funniest thing is I don't mind talking about auto entry and talking about ledgersync and all these different programs because they're great. And just like we have the mentality as accountants, there's enough business for all of us.
Oh yeah.
I have to work with these companies.
I love how we all work together.
Yeah. I mean, let's help each other. Let's all make a little bit more money and find good
I'm really, if you think about it, I don't think I've bumped into, in our world anyway, app developers who aren't real generous.
Yeah, I belong to a couple of CPA groups. Like on Wednesday, I had my tax accounting roundtable. We meet once a month, and it's kind of like we share information and surveys. I mean, it would cost probably $150 an hour to go talk to these people in their office, but you get free advice, and plus, if people get sick, people can help out while they're temporarily sick, their clients.
So important having this.
So we're basically a collaborative type of group. And I mean, one no-no is you don't steal clients, but most people are so busy right now, they don't have time to be.
Please, no.
It's more like you try to get rid of some clients.
Well, honestly, one of the things that I really did want to talk about was the difference where you get your clients, whether you get them online or you get them from referrals or meeting people at events or, organizations. I really pretty much gave up my organizations and was staying in the office and doing the online things. I'm back to going out to different events, different organization chamber meetings, and it's a lot different these days than what it was, I'll say, 10 years ago.
Right.
And I'm finding better success. Better success because the people want what I have to offer, as opposed to getting things online where they're simply shopping for the lowest price. If they want the lowest price, that I'm not the person for them. So don't waste my time.
It isn't quantity, it's quality.
It isn't quantity, it's quality. So if you talk to all the marketers, they want you to have thousands of friends, thousands of likes, thousands, so everybody's seeing you. I don't care if everybody sees me. I care if the right people see me.
Bill, the primary way we receive new clients for Parkway, the way I market for Parkway versus Vendorsync, obviously 2 totally different things. Parkway, it's been content creation, search engine optimization. The biggest success for us has been Google My Business, making sure we captured our Google My Business, had a good listing, and we get our reviews there. I've had a hot point forever with Intuit and the ProAdvisor. I think the smartest thing they could ever do would be to aggregate the reviews from Google and Yelp, especially since both of those are fully reviewed. They're vetted.
That's right.
Where they were all shown on my ProAdvisor.
I agree.
Because then I would have reason to put all of my reviews into one place. Right now, if I have to choose between my ProAdvisor and Google, I'm going to Google. They got 87% of the market searching out there. I'm going to go where the most eyes are at.
Right.
And ultimately, if Intuit did that, think about it. It's a win-win-win. It makes it to where small business owners actually would utilize that as a resource even more than they do now to find ProAdvisors. Yeah. It makes it to where as accountants now have a better value because all the small business owners would be always going there, right? And for Intuit, it brings in a lot more traffic because it becomes the true resource for where you find accountants.
That's common sense. I mean, that's just
been saying it for
Too much common sense. No one, yeah.
So brilliant in its simplicity. But who do you talk to put that bug in their ear?
Well, I do stuff like I just did right now because hopefully they watch and see it. But literally,
Mariette, who has just graduated the Intuit Council of
Yeah. So who's going on the council? Was it a 2-year?
So they stagger it 2 years. So there's a group that come on, and then the next year another group comes on. The first group is
They're rolling. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's always continuity.
This was Linda's first year, basically. Linda Artisani. So.
Oh, she'd be a good one though.
She's on it.
You've got an ear then, Matt.
On
Linda has been amazingly helpful. She has helped introduce me to some very wonderful people within Intuit. I mean, I'm just super, super grateful for it. I applied last year to be on the council. There were 400 people that applied, the most they ever had.
Wow.
I was not accepted last time, and I will happily try again as soon as it comes up again. And I will keep trying and trying and trying until I get the chance to be on there.
It should be in February.
Well, you've got a person in there pulling for you anyway, so there you go. So that kind of brings us into Duane's topic.
Yes.
The new ProAdvisor system and the point system that they use. Duane, you want to talk a little about that?
Oh, I was aware of it, I guess, last week. I think they launched it last Thursday, and I was really surprised. It's very different than what I'm used to, but I think there are some people that like it. I know that Sandy Smith-Leva likes it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And
well, she's probably elite, I would imagine.
Yeah. You know,
so anybody that's designated elite and has all of everything are happy.
Right. I was a little disappointed with them not noting the old timers that have been around for a while, that have gone through the painstaking effort to get certified each year for many years. Right. And I think they should be given credit for that. But they've taken a whole different approach toward that. So I wasn't too happy with that. But I guess I can get used to this whole new point system. Yeah.
I think the new point system has an opportunity for more people to be at a higher level than what they would have been, because it really was negatively skewed for those who didn't hold a lot of QBO subscriptions. And so now where they have other opportunities for doing other things, they can get the points for it. So, I mean, they haven't fully baked what's going on. Like right now, the initial points that we've gotten are based on our certifications. And then if we have team members, so this might be a way of getting around some of it. So if you had somebody, Matt, so where Matt has a lot of points, if you asked him to be one of your team members, his point populated to you and pushed your levels up.
Really?
Because it aggregates your people.
But I thought you had to actually be part of the same firm in order to have somebody.
Yeah, so you invite him as a team member and collaborate with him.
Yep. You don't have to assign me to any clients.
Don't you?
Nope.
That might be completely getting around things properly, but yeah.
It should be true collaboration, but
yes.
And we do collaborate. It depends on.
Yeah. Because I do have somebody else.
Here is collaborating.
I would love to collaborate. I mean, we're just for the QBO clients that I have.
Yeah, Sara and I have collaborated, and
so then what you need to do though is you need to be a team member. So one of you needs to be the team member of the other, or both of you could be team members, and then your points, all your certification, roll up into the firm, and so that it really is double dipping your points, right?
Right. So it's a firm idea. Yeah. Okay.
There's one little caveat to it, though, from what I've understood, that if you end up, or I don't know how they would tell this, but if you call in to get customer support on a client that is like Linda, if it was your client, but you invite me to your team, which then bumped you up into the higher elite, there may be some kind of a conflict there of the level of service that you might get. I thought I heard something of that nature, but I don't know how they would do that. So
Right.
Well,
Okay, let me ask you this. Let's say you're team members and one of you are elite and the other one is a platinum member. And that's the new term, platinum. Okay.
I'm cold.
Okay, or you're gold, let's say. Okay, so let's say that you're teamed up with an elite member, right? And then she calls in for technical support. Is she going to get gold service or is she going to get elite service?
elite.
Really?
Yeah, but I don't know that elite is so elite as it used to be. Really hearing things.
That's really good help.
Well, so I actually questioned that.
Stateside versus overseas, maybe?
Well, I have a question. If you're silver and gold, all your technical support comes from overseas staff. And if you're platinum and elite, then you get English-speaking support. Is that correct?
Well, so U.S.-based support.
The question of Queen's English or American English.
Well, American English. That's what I'm trying to say. For elite and for platinum. And then I understand that for gold and silver, you get someone outside the United States. Is that correct?
Close.
Yeah. I'm still getting American help.
You are?
In addition to where you get
That's good.
help, there's also time that you're on hold.
That's the biggest thing.
That's the hold time before you actually get a support member. It used to be that I would get a support member like within 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
Every time.
Lickety split.
Right.
Not so these days.
Hmm.
Now, the other thing is I don't know if I have the correct number any longer to call for the ProAdvisor support. That number has changed about 50 times throughout the years.
Yeah.
I tried calling about 2 days ago, and I had a payroll question literally at like 4:40. When I called in, I'm well over the number for elite, and it told me it was going to be a 30-minute wait. It even told me we're transferring you to your elite team, and it told me 30 minutes, and I was like, wait a second. I've never had to wait that long. So I was very, very concerned. I even posted a question trying to ask about it. But I would like to follow up with, I called today and did the exact same process, and they got to me very, very quickly. I even asked them specifically, hey, can you tell me with my service level, what does that mean now? Did it change? Did it not? What am I looking at? And elite is supposed to be equivalent to diamond care from before. So
Supposed to be.
we'll let you.
Payroll's a whole other division too.
Yeah, payroll and payments are.
That's
Yeah,
right.
payments.
Bye, Tiffany. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays, Tiffany.
Thanks, Wayne. Is there going to be one of the sessions in between, like before New Year's, or should we be saying that too?
Friday.
On the 28th?
Yeah.
Yes, we'll have a happy hour next week also.
Okay.
Okay.
So then I won't say Happy New Year yet. Bye, everyone.
All right.
Okay. Hey,
See you
Yvette.
tonight, maybe.
Bye.
Yes. So yeah, the one thing I would really love to see happen with the new ProAdvisor, I would love to see the points that you have actually provide you kind of points you can use to get merchandise, not buy merchandise, get merchandise.
Oh,
I
that
feel
would be
the same
cool.
way.
You get those little backpacks or the cool jackets or.
I
But
remember
they're,
where I
they're
used to
charging
get
full
to,
retail, so didn't that behoove them to give it merchandise to as many people as possible?
Exactly.
Some of it's
Swag,
special
swag.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but if
read
I've
it.
got 45 clients and I'm spending that much money with them every month, then let me use my
Oh,
points.
you need a discount. I would want a discount if you're a certain level that you start getting perks.
Brandon hooks us up if we go through him for desktop, right?
right?
Right. I'm on his team.
Brandon's representing Hubdoc today.
Let's do it.
You have a different background, Brandon.
I'm in Arkansas in my mother's office today.
Ah.
Okay.
Yeah. Home for the holidays. Got the whole family with you?
The whole family. My wife is out shopping. My kids are hanging out with my oldest daughter, and we were just talking about you, Sarah, because we're studying smart sheets. We're gonna we may be getting rid of 17 hats and going all smart sheets. We're looking at some other options, incorporating ODBC and merging it with QuickBooks Desktop Enterprise. And yeah, it's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't heard about ODB, however you say that, in years, and now all of a sudden it's popping up its head.
It's powerful stuff.
It is.
But it's heady. I mean, it's
My brain feels
lightly
like it's
learned. You got
out of my ears after you.
the ODB bit. Yeah.
The beauty
But like
of ODBC,
QQ reads everything, and I wonder if that's a little quicker.
so
I want to pull data out of QuickBooks and push and pull from Smartsheets to QuickBooks. And my understanding is the ODBC, there's a connector there that will do that with Smartsheets.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That would be awesome. That would be like amazingly powerful. And Brandon, you are such a geek. You're at a family event and you're talking smart sheets with your family.
Smart family.
Yes.
Well, I have web forms that feed donations into a smart sheet. Then we use TPI to bring in sales receipts. I'd love to make that simpler.
You
love to make. So I use TPI to bring in receipts when I'm doing commissions for payments.
Yeah.
So when we're sending everybody, all the ASG people, payments, reports and all that, I use TPI to bring in the data from Excel into QuickBooks, and then I use advanced reporting to run commission reports to get all that data out. So I just I'm trying to.
There's
we've got
so
several
many.
ASG people, and
Go ahead,
right now
Matt.
I'm gathering.
I'm sorry, how much is TPI a year? Anybody know?
What?
You're talking about desktop?
Okay, yeah. So sure, for
desktop
desktop.
you buy it once.
Okay.
The problem is now that it's owned by Right, they're pretty much going to upgrade to, they're on 7, I think, and they're going to let the rest of them. They're not going to update.
I just upgraded to the 19, the latest TPI for desktop, and they've still got the pricing same way it used to be.
And they actually,
if you want to upgrade.
they actually lowered the price even. They did lower it, but they've got some issues right now, and I'm on 6, and they're not going to put it in 6. They have to buy 7.
So we use CData for basically everything that you guys are talking about, that same concept. They have a professional license and an enterprise license.
Right.
The way it works is it connects to a whole lot of different data sources. So my enterprise license, which is the higher one, I pay $500 for the full year. They do full update for the whole year, but I get 125 different data source connections. QuickBooks Desktop,
Great.
Xero, FreshBooks, Stripe, Square, Smartsheets, and the list goes on.
Wow. Wow.
Because of that, like the price is expensive. But if you literally, like, you think about what you can do, it's amazing. Because you could, one of the best uses I use for it is we do the books for a software development house. They built their own time tracking application, which means we don't get to use T-Sheets to pull information into QuickBooks Online. So we take all their stuff from a Google Sheet, and I formulated an Excel sheet that I can just take, copy, paste it right into my Excel sheet, and it then uses formulas to structure it just the way I need it. That was the hard part at first. But now, because I have that, I can push all their time in. What used to take 2 to 3 days for somebody, it takes me about 45 minutes because I've structured all of it. and I'm pushing in anywhere between 60 to 100 time activities. I push them in as billable expenses so I can then turn them into invoices as projects in QuickBooks Online.
Right.
Nice, nice.
And it's called C Data?
C Data, yeah. And matter of fact, I just did a webinar with Hector Garcia on enterprise.
Yeah, watch that.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Awesome.
They do a promo code in it too. It's on the promo code is listed on my YouTube channel. If you go with smaller little videos of how to use C Data to take and like you can actually go through for QuickBooks and manipulate your customer list. Or my favorite, reclassification in QuickBooks Online. You see data, you can reclassify everything. You pull a whole list of all of your expenses, man, you can go and you can do the whole year all at once.
Wow.
QBO?
QBO, QBD, QB point of sale.
So it would read the QBO, you can play with it, and then it replaces?
Yes.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Wow.
Andy, would you put your YouTube channel at the bottom in the chat?
You bet.
Data software, is that who?
Hey, and did Hector put up a link to the recording for his?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll have to look at his recording. Last subject, Sarah, you wanted to ask about e-signatures. What do we use for e-signatures? You're having
I have DocuSign.
Yes. Okay, so this year I thought I'd be technically cool. And I have 4 engagement letters that I do in December, which is bookkeeping clients and review clients. Mainly, they've got the data. We have the data. I have an engagement letter for each for 1099s. I have another one for W-2s. And they're check boxes, especially with W-2s. It's like, I want to know, did you have personal use of auto? Did you, I just want the client to take responsibility for all these issues that I need to know. And it's our engagement letter. So I've been watching all the conversations of what people are using for e-signatures. And in some of these Facebook conversations, I realized that I have Adobe DC. So I'm already paying for Adobe DC, and EchoSign comes with it. And I'm like, I don't have to buy anything else. So I've struggled the last, but working on it off and on. I was able to make the 4 templates and their forms. So I sat down to get them out today, and like 3.5, 4 hours later, because it required me to go one at a time. It wouldn't read my email list, so I was opening up my email over here and cutting and pasting emails. I'm like, and I was cutting and pasting from a text. My verb is like, "Hi, Merry Christmas, Dad." And I'm like, why did I have to go through all that work?
You need Vendorsync for Adobe.
So I made I either missed something, or next year we're going to use something else.
Right signature or sign now. Right signature comes with share file if you do the right packaging to it, and the key is you can do templates. So we have a new employee packet in bulk.
In bulk. That was my.
I actually like Sign Now better. I have this weird thing, and I have to get over it since I now have an app about spending a whole bunch of money on apps. It's really a bad thing. Karma's a bad deal. Sign Now, we got a great deal on Sign Now quite some time ago, and they came out with conditional logic or like branching fields in documents. So, for example, we created a document that if a person was a contractor versus an employee, it would change whether they put a social security number or an EIN, and then it would help populate the W-4 down below or a 1099 below. So I'm a firm believer if you've got documents and you put a name in, there is no reason you should put your name in again 4 other times on a document. You should put it in once and it should populate everywhere else, right? Sign Now made that a lot easier because you could map all that out. And I think that one's $20 a month.
Wow, that's the thing. I need it once a year. You know, not bringing on new clients all the time where I'm needing documents signed. This is like an annual project, and everything I looked at was like a monthly subscription.
What about like, I mean, if you're using a Dubsado or 17 Hats, those have something like that, right?
Yeah, I could play with Dubsado. I've got an account.
Hey, Mariette. Yes, we are still recording, and we had a shout out to you for graduating into its development council.
Yay!
Yay, Mariette.
She says thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Hi, guys. So you did a shout out. Thank you for that. That was awesome. We had a couple of buddies. Linda Artisani. She also graduated. Oh, no, she didn't. Sorry.
No, she just
graduated. No. I didn't. No. It wasn't Linda.
Right?
What was it?
Jacob Schroeder.
Yes, Jacob. That was it. It was Jacob. Well, you guys saw the pictures. I shared everything, but it was Jacob. I don't know if anybody else is in SBAA other than Linda. Now that I think about it, who else is an SBA that's on council right now? Do you guys know of anybody else besides me and Linda?
I can't think of anyone.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Well,
so you and Linda will be the Cool Jacket Club.
Yeah, we have the Cool Jacket Club. I'm honestly
that puppy jacket.
Yes, I'm going to retire my puppy jacket. I'm very excited about that.
I love how that became such a thing. It's awesome.
Yeah, and then I find out my husband had one. I didn't even know it.
Actually,
by the way, Larry DeForest says that Mark has his, what did he call that? Have gun will travel hat on.
Oh, yes.
And he looks like a cowboy.
He's got blinky lights, but you can't
see
really see it.
Yeah.
I was looking at that a while ago. I'm digging her hat.
Congratulations on your set David debut.
Aussie.
All righty, we're going to end our show on that. See you all same time, same place next week.
Bye. Bye. Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Merry Christmas.